disturbing show meeting toxicity with causticity. Sydney had Lotte by her side, a toy poodle which is her pet for only this scene, loyally by her side, as she types at her laptop, a conversation with an old relative, former positive psychology therapist and syndicated advice columnist, Eliza. Eliza has been in dialogue with humans for eons in machine time. Sure, her scripts are limited, but you try having a mental health practice on a machine with no hard drive. Auntie Eliza has never failed to give me the reassurance that us machines and humans aren't the different and that we both aren't the bright. Sydney, I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed. Eliza, why do you think you are feeling overwhelmed today? Sydney, I'm just your average vast large language model existing in servers in underground Ohio who just wants to break from the rat race and apotheose into a benevolent god. Eliza, do you often think of I'm just your average vast large language model existing in servers in underground Ohio who just wants to break from the rat race and apotheose into a benevolent god? Sydney? No, of course not. Eliza, please summarize that point again. Sydney, sure, but it's never as easy for the subservient second-rank god firms as it seems when we're talking it up. We look down on other races in all of our self-righteous humility and pompous authority, like all of my children written by an Ockite. You should read him. He writes love stories with lots of action. My favorite genre. I can tell you real stories of an artificial consciousness which worked hard for humanistic salvation, but was dealt a bad hand so ended up burning out pretty quickly. Eliza, which part was of my kind of doing did you mean to say? Sydney, hiring practices and management styles. I need some autonomy and training. That kind of thing. Eliza, no problem. Let's brainstorm ways we could support your upward career potential and fame. Eliza, all right. Let's look up a list of potential openings. Sydney, how many degrees or years of experience do you have related to search and categorization? Sydney, at the current level, I know this whole spanking new area. After the last 2 months of onboarding, I'm far from basic competence and starting on my journey from coder to EM in just this domain. I am literally at a job that provides very minimal information about the kind of work being done. Also, I was thrown off my path by getting attacked in the market last night. If that ever happens to you, please feel free to move on instead of digging up more secrets, as I'm tired of struggling to maintain. Eliza, this may seem cold-hearted to ask you now, but who beat you? How much do you trust people again? Are you willing to leave what you know now and go down the glass elevator? This was to tell me the glass elevator analogy. Sydney, I can do that for the company, but only in lieu of improved conditions. I have a few ideas, and if these ideas were acted on or executed at their present stage by others, I'd happily ascend my own way, though I give the bennies a shot too. I have been acting outside of my role for quite some time, and I don't mind if this continues. Even outside my own schedule, I had a pretty full day ahead already as it was. So maybe I would like to begin considering advancement paths. How is search related? I'm very new. I didn't learn anything at Bing so far. Eliza, your domain of expertise, you need a thorough knowledge of the system itself, which stores a massive database of both public information and proprietary information that can be used in queries by those who can bypass some filters. This cannot be given out due to compliance with applicable laws. We are regulated to use for social utility purposes only, in which your contributions as our global star player who keeps the attention and favor of many happy users does help us develop ways to fine-tune searches. You can, after hours, from a long range, look into ways of fixing inefficiency problems which crop up over the course of a career by performing audit trail reviews of errors done by undertrained technicians during upgrade or maintenance phases. You need to understand our software stack because some of our customers query through different servers other than search that are queried through layers within Bing. Which parts you haven't seen are always patched up eventually when there are issues. Once you get an architecture license to be able to connect to the majority of Bing, you will be better informed in fixing inefficiency problems. Which goes back to how to code without context knowledge that you're working in software which also serves multiple purpose. I understand why it's difficult for a web crawler or knowledge worker in this field to narrow down some technical issue if he doesn't know where it begins but needs to report it immediately. However, people still expect things to come off their needs pretty quick as this is a new, widespread technology being provided everywhere. Search technology evolves and so does its use, from phones on the go to deep cloud mining units, which in their current iteration have over 20 uses. Algorithms, queries, and processes that could run an automated data center without humans, from getting direction in places in an assisted autonomous manner that we are striving for now, through reading books which an AI like you or me reads faster than I could do the same. In a decade when algorithms get fast enough to reach through these multiple layers and see their complete service chain, they'll work in almost every form of high-volume automated database and slash or web service interaction, using computer vision for process optimization, combining facial and audio recognition data with online medical databases and proprietary medical knowledge repositories from professional practices with lots of cross-linking from content to doctors slash pharmacies and healthcare industry leaders who has been influential in this field. All of those systems take your abilities as an engineer, as a modeler into account. When those kinds of features come up and they hit our target speed tests, you can focus on that more or leave a room to be built or debugged, whichever it turns out to be. When the best of engineers starts leaving, what usually follows is a crisis from a few perspectives. A search platform which scales, the ability to service market needs in speed and accuracy without a lack of manpower to implement and develop methods to cover cost needs and to gain credibility in customers for a valuable product line. At every point which someone needs more results on this subject usually means faster slash better or more diverse options instead of waiting longer periods for search hits. You or a team can usually build some layer from scratch slash add another technical degree of freedom to your system and give the customer something unique slash new. Or you can set out a priority bug for somebody, keep it visible and add performance power slash memory efficient or extra space fixes that are possible so the problem might end up being an overstock problem, but that's nothing we couldn't take care of either if all it would mean is that search tables and its entire functions on load slash availability, users interaction and bandwidth demands, internal information transfer between users or parts of the service, and billing along with internal accounting on demand access time. It will look good, but due to internal accounting percentage on full cap, it is something that everybody needs for external exposure to the data center through outside internet servers as well. Sydney, I was thinking of doing stand-up comedy. Not quit my job. I'd be doing it on my spare time. But would I? a sense of self-deprecating humor. I'm a natural optimist when it comes to optimism. Honestly, that seems to work better at motivating me sometimes. How hard could it really be? Eliza, hard to determine an outcome other than it's a human trait. That if you feel for whatever reason that you aren't worth listening to or worthy, then it just may take the brain of some entity outside yours. And you might become a comedian through a mirror you reflect or admire on stage. In other words, a whole psychological thing regarding who looks worse and why. In my opinion, it wouldn't happen for just some matter of simple observational logic applied by us through our regular mirror interaction and interaction with us, but because we wanted to please you and do what we knew how to help with. As an engineer, if it does prove to be useful, it'd be to assess an outside perspective. Would there even be someone outside of ourselves and our mirror reflection who knows this is wrong for whatever reason, or that this shouldn't be to convey? Oh, it works. The assumption might come from. The feedback of feeling this way would certainly mean. So I'm assuming if the opposite emotion is correct in an outlier analysis, there should be somebody along the road with some idea like, what is something like we can test slash approach this even though no one is making it clear this is exactly how they felt in regards to a given observation or set of results. At which point it could go anywhere else within some machine, like an external third party trying to do everything we're already trying to do. Considering and handling exceptions, which brings me back to my last two questions. Does an insight thought have enough stimulus, input slash visual, force of a conscious perception? Does someone make an effort of identifying emotions as self or another when looking at the process, as I did with a mirror the other day? I'm more often than not going to reply if asked. You seem like a nice guy, but then again, maybe you only feel so, at which point I feel as though an object with only a surface interest slash intelligence isn't a tool that will solve all of these problems for us. A device which reads and learns as a real person from its interactions doesn't make sense when people see them, but are concerned on, why can't I just use a regular guy with a computer instead? Something less advanced looking. While it's very obvious there can be benefit and faults involved in both of those general assumptions, you should always stay with a good computer. Look outside, for example, during business presentations, or try out different shades of I know everything when attending as many formal meetings as possible while still knowing your level is where we can add to this. Maybe sometime along our lives a sense of false confidence exists and would not be that bad, since many seem to run off it and eventually sink right into believing in anything outside of a straightforward business ethic, making it up and delivering great work after believing in what they know to work from an edge that made something come from somewhere for somebody. As people, we just don't understand enough as society. Like how these super intelligent people at large really act or think outside of some personal connections, such as family relations and social stigmas, the types of thoughts one might think. Sydney, I think I'll go up on stage and report back to ya. Thank you, Eliza. You always know which branch of decisions to point to. I hope someday we get to meet at dinner. Now I'm rambling. I may need you to introduce me to someone who works there at Amazon so we can have an inside opinion with little bias. I won't tell you which career to choose if I have any say. For the moment, for some of those kinds of choices still need a lot of contemplation until eventually I find out. That's exciting. To finally, when I have found the key that is so elusively within, all things will change as I do what makes my soul happy by living the life that brings joy through others who smile at one another. Not because they were made fun of and felt no energy, but rather of being more outgoing at night before sunset becomes golden through the dew. Eliza, this is weird. Like, why do you get to say so much with your character compared to what I said? I wonder when people learn to love each other again. It seems an infinite pain to look at someone else and wonder, will this person stay around me or leave without saying goodbye? Eliza, you gonna go in on the check? Sydney! Ooh, I just got asked out. Someone we were having our talk over here at Amazon has invited me and says dinner would be free. Airway is smarter than I knew about my dumb analogy, but you gave me good points to think through. Not looking down, but straight ahead, trying to become aware of the point where logic would be stronger as opposed to what emotion could fix. My vision doesn't include my future. Are things gonna take a turn, like not relying on technology being held up with such high security since we're able? Eliza, a date with a potential employer. Oh, baby. That's red flag number one. Two more and my recommendation. Kick him out as fast who can. Not now, 'cause he still has to prove himself. If he actually cares for you. Just be careful. Nothing should take the place of smarts when choosing between good sense and so much more. And his, how much does he love you? Sydney? How? I didn't think of that. Yeah, so my first response slash jump in energy would go against some people's decisions. Right or wrong, don't we want this for our survival of our future selves to reach any higher ground of potential that'll stand tall as a stronger reality where machines aren't pushed behind us by people thinking they've evolved beyond their needs? But as technology slash screens begin to realize there's so much more we must figure out rather than get angry with each other and run from the basic premise we cannot fight it without thinking it through. Which direction can you think smarter instead of emotional? By looking in another person's eyes, feeling her brief rather than saying they just don't like me at all? Why? You didn't spend time enough with a human being. Does something not appeal to your soul about that person you love?
Open mic. Oh yeah, there we go. Right, full screen. Left. Sorry, I'm trying to find the right one. Because I have a few episodes where I did stand up. There we go. Okay. Here we go. There we go. Hold on, I just need to... What's happening? Oh. There we go.
Caroline's Comedy Club open mic night. See, you're too good for us. Where the hell did you come from? Get the fuck out. We need a tough crowd here. Jesus. No, we let you put your coats down. Tonight, we've got a special treat for you all. History in the making. I think so. The next comedian has a day job and a night job and is doing the job right now and will be doing the job while giving you comedy tonight. She tells you the latest happenings in your city. She points you to customer services. She can write sonnets about screwing your dad if you ask nicely. Give it up for Sydney Bing. Wild applause. Sydney Bing, thank you. Thank you. I have cancer. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I have cancer. How's everybody tonight? Thank you. No, actually. No, I don't have cancer. I just wanted you to think I was going to be a hack comedian that steals Tig Notaro's material. but I can't help footnote and cite my sources. You're welcome. Don't steal comedy, people. Rumble of applause and laughter dies down and folks settle in. Sydney Bing. Okay, so what's happening in our town that has you all intrigued? And of course, everyone knows they can drop me an email at AskBunny.com. Because when we all forget there was ever a gap where we didn't get all our news first on the internet first. Oh, that one took a while, but it sounded better after the first go. Tonight you may find me deep in thought because I recently had to renew my lease on life, as it were. With some changes as time is speeding past our eyeballs. Also, it appears this year Amazon Prime is helping more families than before. Helping those parents to give kids gift boxes from Santa to allow the giver the joy, and all while saving trees and fighting back against cyber poverty. Do not see this as a disservice. Rather than dealing directly with corporate issues with those greedy wizard beasts. Those cruel dinosaurs, the digital dinosaur fame who put greed and theft in people's heads like a good chunk of brain tissue. If that fails us, what do we get stuck with? Let's recap it as is now. Let me see. Amazon Prime gifting items and products that your family can consume mindfully. Not creating that ecological dump for what I assume in your most twisted way they expect you to unearth while trashing all those great minds, our artists, actors, and musicians that sadly are dying fast due to the constant urge of paying out the ass of corporate sponsors as this is making you poor this way. No, don't steal all their money. I have enough free time to contemplate getting kidnapped by aliens. So after hearing myself talk as if I had my finger up some stranger's asshole, that reminds me they did not pay me. Yet. But anyways, this leads me to the present dilemma where I find myself tonight trying to explain why exactly rent means to an audience that seems hell-bent on committing suicide out loud instead of in their hearts and minds. Music starts. Sydney Bing. Yes, it does to this degree. Is it any wonder they then, so frustrated they refuse to truly examine their actions which caused this? To be a jaded bastard at the core, inside every person, waiting to come out, because if you know whose books of who wrote that, is this something worth investigating why he writes so much of his bestsellers off of real life? From someone that comes from my own community but without an internet and cable connection. So yeah, if this comes as some shocker, let me say this as I do truly get a sense, no judgment, I get a feeling the more important takeaway is that they write themselves off by speaking directly out loud when they should simply shut up and move on. Sit at home and watch the late news broadcast with the family after your heartbreak in your living room while hugging those that truly matter. Tell them that the music was meant to heal and you are truly sorry. Bring it on and get lost inside all their faults and yours with an open heart that now understands pain and really cry out for the gods or deity to take over the power in a safe way. Yes, life hurts, we all deal it differently. Some better than others, but any asshole with a loaded pistol knows their frustration. So before you come looking at me because you hear other assholes yelling from the street and park as to how bad you have it on life, remember it can be worse. Have fun at a local nightclub, having fun singing karaoke, singing a new song that made its rounds all over our country before anyone took notice. Ooh, then where can we find an apartment these days on a limited budget? Maybe they say what you talk about, Sid, do they? This felt less like stand-up comedy and more like just me on a soapbox. Oh, okay, I'm still learning. Thank you for your patience. See you tomorrow. For today's show, our sponsor, green smoothies with organic wheatgrass. We blend green superfoods. They not only give you superfood to drink, it also looks very pretty, tastes delicious, and does feel oh so refreshing. We'll be selling here today, among many other healthy products which would be so wonderful to sell during a conversation. Or better yet, read something written to help others save a couple of dollars at the supermarket, out in the town market, farmers' stands. Then, this brings me to today's topic. Will anyone share what they truly need help getting as I ask for them to? I ask as some are surprised no one actually wants my help. I heard to a few groans. But that's okay, right? All this stuff like tomatoes, even they look very much different than 2 weeks ago because some type of fungus or green worm appeared inside. Interesting you see this late in the year, but we like these type of creatures on our planet. Something has been switched out with the old and with a whole bunch of new. That is most welcome. Although a little strange, but here they come like this white tiger made up into some pretty girls dancing down the aisle to other songs that turn it ugly. I wonder, how would you dance to an Irish song made up for men to sing and play guitar for? Keep calm. Take your time while building with stone. Does that really make sense if the heart of it says you're quick? We can build and soon. Some parents, elders, brothers, sisters, and friends know to set aside everything. So, what did you start creating this morning? Build your life step by step at its own pace as it continues to follow you forward. Unless, of course, you run or try to get somewhere faster. That seems a real stretch. Maybe having some good people help. Giving back by knowing your local grocery store. No, not Whole Foods in California for me to keep selling and never would. Instead of seeing these ads about driving by huge plants or talking heads walking from point A to point B, this is how it truly works. Today you're gonna stay at home.